how is a very powerful word that we can use to problem solve for anything in our life. We think differently when we start our question with how. What up, world? And welcome back to another episode of the Seeds of Success podcast. It's your host, Colin Walters, and today we are picking up right where we left off from last episode, where I shared that I am doing a 90 videos in 90 days for YouTube challenge. And today's episode, I want to talk about 3 lessons that I have learned in these first 34 days. And lesson number 1 is to work smarter, not harder. And that's not to say I have felt good about working hard, with a lot of the content that I've been doing. However, what I continue to learn is that the more smart I can work, the more effective with time that I can be, the more consistent and quality results that I can continue to produce. One example of working smarter, not harder, is that I have continued to leverage batching. And so, for example, I'm standing here in the room, and this is the 3rd episode that I have recorded in a row. And I have been doing the same thing with YouTube, which is creating 2, 3, 4 shorts in a row, or 4 reels in a row, and then being able to then schedule those out over a couple of days. Or if I'm working in Premiere Pro and editing some videos, chopping up some 30 to 60 second pieces that I know will be good for future shorts, and then finalizing those, editing them, downloading them, and then having them for future use that I can then pull from when I'm in a scramble. And so that's one way that potentially you can apply batching into your life. And then another thing I've done working smarter is just repurposing content, doing some things that I have already created, right? So I was like, where can I go get a video? How can I create a video right now? How is a very powerful word that we can use to problem solve for anything in our life. We think differently when we start our question with how. And so my immediate thought was, well, why don't I go to what I have already created? And so I went to my Instagram, I downloaded some of my reels, I uploaded them into YouTube Shorts, I messed with a couple things, added some music, and then boom, there it was. I had a short that I didn't have to spend time thinking about. I had already done the work, and I was getting smart by repurposing the content, uploading it to YouTube, and I felt really good about the work that I was doing. So that was number 1, working smarter, not harder. And number 2 is you really don't know what is going to hit, right? Some of my most watched and most viewed shorts were, in my eyes, the worst videos that I could have made. I have spent so much time making what I think to be an incredible video, for at least from my experience. I know it's not superb quality by any means, but for where I started and where I am now, I thought they were really good, and I dedicated a lot of time. There was one where I was in a jam, and I was traveling that day. I was rushing to the airport. I knew that I needed to get something out the door fast, and so I just put together like 2, 3 clips real quick, something I literally just did at the gym, and threw it up there. And I was like, rushed out the door, and I checked back like 2 hours later, and it had 2,400 views, and I was blown away. So the lesson here is that you never know what is going to stick and what's going to hit and what people are going to relate to. So if you have an idea, or if you have a thought, try it out. See if it works. See if your audience actually likes it. See if your clients respond well to it. See if your family or your friends actually latch on to what you're saying or thinking or doing. And so I just want to encourage you to go try it. You never know what's going to happen with it. I'm blown away, continue to be blown away at what actually gets views. And sometimes I'm trying to articulate the success in these things and trying to identify common themes. Are there common tags that I'm using, specific times of day, certain soundtracks or music, or different things that I said? And sometimes you just never know, so try it. Third lesson that we are taking away here is to be vulnerable. And this goes far beyond creating YouTube videos. This goes far beyond creating content. This is what I have found to be very applicable to my life. and vulnerable in conversations, vulnerable in our emotions, our feelings, how we are connecting with people and listening. And vulnerability goes a long way. At least helps me get back to the roots of who I am and what I'm doing. Specifically with the content, the most vulnerable I have felt, in other words, the most nervous I have been to click publish, and the most sweat my palms have accumulated before I hit publish and post, typically the better the videos have done. What I have found is that the ones that make me kind of cringe when I look back at them, and I'm like, oh shit, do I really want to post this thing? And the more that I have thought, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna critique me on? Or, just getting over that fear has been insurmountable to continuing to put out videos at scale that people can relate to. And that's the message that has just resonated with me, is the more real I have been, the more vulnerable I have been, the more nervous I have been to actually click post and actually put this thing out to the public, the better the videos have done. And the more that I have been able to connect with people, and I know that because of the individuals that have reached out to me saying how much that video they were able to resonate with or relate to. And so it was a really cool correlation to basically form this parallel with my nervousness and my insecurities and my doubts and uncertainty with the success of the videos and the success of the impact that it was having on people. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm after, is the impact that I'm having on people. And so if I can get a little nervous and click publish and it helps more people, that's just the way it's going to be. So click publish, click record, start that idea, try the thing out, just do it. And so 3 lessons that I've learned in the 90 days, on day 34 of the 90-day bootcamp challenge for these YouTube videos. So, and again, you can find my YouTube channel at Coolin2322. That's Coolin with 2 O's, 2322. Let me know what you think. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would really appreciate it. I am trying to grow this channel to positively impact people's lives, encourage people to become their best selves. Again, I still don't know the vision of this thing. It's continuing to evolve as I do more videos, as I continue to find my voice in this podcast and in the content creation. And so I appreciate any and all support. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode.